So we're gonna film the intro. It's gonna be a little bit, it's gonna be a little intense, so just don't freak out, okay? What's up, guys? My name is Zach. Wow! And we're gonna be at EAS Motorsports here in Kenner, Louisiana, putting lowering springs on the Supra. Oh my God! And it's gonna be great! Ah! I'm filming all of them like that from here on out. But no, we're here at EAS Motorsports, waiting on Brandon. The guy, homeboys back there, already got the car on the lift. Putting lowering springs and spacers. So give it a little bit of facelift, nothing crazy, but I'm super excited about how it's gonna come out, so. All right, so the main thing here is that, I mean, the fitment's not absolutely terrible or egregious like some cars come. This car actually sits fairly nice, and the wheel spacing is actually not terrible. So the point of us doing the lowering springs is to take this wheel gap from this to this, right? So give us a little bit better fitment. And then we also have spacers. I'm doing 15 millimeters on the front, 15 millimeters on the back. Should be perfect for all of them. And then that'll also pull the tire out, so that way we're sitting flush from tire to fender ratio. So we got our guy over here working on it, and he's starting to pull things apart. Could I have done it myself? Absolutely. But it would have taken me and my friends all day long, and I don't feel like doing that, quite frankly. I work too hard to try to figure things out anymore. I'd rather just pay people to do things for me. So before you start getting in my comments about I don't work on my own stuff, I only work on my own stuff when I feel like it. So, let's get into it. This is the mastermind behind this whopping facility that you have here, and also the owner of that. Brandon Johnson.
What's up?
Who are you? What do you do?
Well, my name is Brandon Johnson. I own EAS. EAS stands for a number of things: Express Auto Salon, EAS Motorsports. There's a bunch of different things involved with EAS, but we mainly work on cars. We do everything automotive, from paint protection film to servicing cars. Basically anything to do with automobiles, we do it. We just happen to mainly focus and service mostly high-end exotic automobiles, doing a variety of things. We are very detail-oriented, and we are perfectionists. So we are very skilled and talented, and make sure that we portray that into every job that we do.
The big thing is that you own this car that has kind of a crazy history to it.
Yeah.
It's a one of like one now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of three that they painted chicane gray. So there's a bunch of chicane effect McLarens, but there's not many chicane grays. It's a chicane 570 GT, which I believe might be the only 570 GT that might exist, because the other chicane 570s are S's. I bought the car brand new, and it was one of the first McLarens to get upgraded turbos on it. And it was a daily driver for a while. We've been to plenty of Texas 2Ks. I drive it all over. I travel in the car. The car is very reliable. With it being turned up, we service the car. We take care of the car. We drive it to service other McLarens out of state in this car. So yes, that is a very
big McLaren guy.
Yeah, big McLaren guy.
Big McLaren guy. Like so big that McLaren calls him.
Yes, we do have guys in the McLaren network that do call us for some of our tips and tricks. But we service, even a lot of Ferraris and Lamborghinis, because we do have the knowledge, we do have the background, we do have the tools and the expertise to properly service and work on and properly maintain these cars. And we document every service that we do. So we actually do better than the dealership as far as documentation records for the owners to show how well they take care of their cars. We are not the cheapest facility, but you get what you pay for. We are
drop stuff like this, and the money goes a long way.
Yes.
Yes.
On the hunt for a plastic spoon so I can eat my food. He says that it says it's somewhere in an office, and she did this. She was like, it's, but they were right here, and there's nothing right there. Ah! Mission accomplished. Fork or spoon. Shout out to Britain. They got literally everything. Can build your car, and they got utensils for me to eat my meal preps. I'm like 8 weeks out from a show right now, so I'll be eating at stupid times all the time. So yeah, I'm letting homeboy take care of that. This is a pretty cool view. This is like their meeting room area. I guess you might even be able to call it like a waiting room. I don't really know what they're doing with it, but pretty cool view. Got Sabrina down there on the lift, and we're kind of just wandering around, just doing our thing. Does he let normal people do that? Probably not, but like, it's me, so it's totally fine. So this building has been an insane work in progress for a long time. He's had this building since like the pandemic, I think. And then he bought it, and then like not too much longer after that, they were doing a lot of the renovating for the building. And then Hurricane Ida hit, and it tore the siding off the building, just all kind of shattered glass, like all kind of crazy stuff. So they've had to rebuild it, and it's been an insane process for him to get a lot of stuff done here, which is super unfortunate. But it is coming along now, which is super nice. Like all the glass is starting to come up. They got glass on the offices. Obviously the meeting room right here is starting to get done. And they've even worked on making this balcony a thing, right? So this is a pretty neat area. There's a balcony outside on the second floor, overlooking whatever this is over here. But it's an extremely sick shop. It used to be like a railroad cart storage / like mechanic shop. So like if you had a railroad cart that was broken, or they would pull railroad carts into this, which is why it's so big like it is. So they've had to do a ton of work, man. They got epoxy floors all throughout the entire building, which is insane to me. It's coming out good, man. I love this place. I love visiting it. It's an insane inspiration for me to come to places like this, to know that crazy things can be done if you're crazy enough to do them. So a place like this kind of reminds me of it. And it also reminds me that things don't happen overnight. Everything takes time, and a lot of places aren't willing to show you the time that it takes to do things. But this is one of those places. He'll tell you that nothing's overnight, and this place is definitely a place that is gonna take time to make it really cool. You're like, oh yeah, okay. Hey, I'm gonna film a quick clip right quick. You're just gonna be along for the ride for about 1 minute, okay?
All right.
Okay. So I got my boss on the phone here. Say hey.
What's up? How we doing?
Okay, so we got the whole shock, everything's out of the car. For this side, we took the lining out just to see if that would make it a little bit easier. And it did. Obviously, it's a lot more work than it needs to be, but that's what he did. Now, if you come over to this side, right, he did not do that. He found another trick to be able to pull it out without pulling the actual liner out of the car. Now, did it make it easier? Not totally sure on that, but he was able to do it. He was experimenting a little bit on both sides. So if you ever were to do this at home, in your garage, you could take the lining out. It might make your life a little bit easier, or you can just yank it out and it'll still come out either way. All right, anyway, what else, Dan?
But boy, everybody told me you could be whatever you wanna be. So I told myself I'ma be a singer, I'ma play on the keys. I can do whatever I want if I just believe, yeah. But then over the years, everybody's telling me to find a career, and I'll be rolling my eyes.
You guys just call me. I'll call you back.
All right, man. Love you.
All right. Bye. Love you.
There's one of your shocks if you need it.
Good thing we didn't need that. All right, so there's a method of getting that shock off of there, and I don't really understand what he just told me how to do it, but he's gonna undo something there, and it's gonna shoot at the wall. So that's what we're gonna do now. That was way less anticlimactic.
Here's the difference in the stock. This is the rear spring. This is also the rear spring. It's only going to lower it about 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more, give or take, just depending on how it settles. I think this is, yeah. So this is, it doesn't look very much smaller. Like I said, it's a different spring, right? So it's going to lower it a little bit, nothing crazy. But I do like it, it's blue. Even though nobody's going to see that, but pretty neat. Just a notable thing, I think it's the dumbest design ever, but whenever you put these on, your logos are going to be upside down. Which, why do they do that? I don't know. But just a rule of thumb, they are supposed to be upside down. That's the only way that they'll fit. Because if you look here at the bottom of it, right, you want this spring to lay flat on this mount, and if you turn it upside down, it will not lay flat and it will not sit correctly. So definitely go with what makes sense as far as fitment goes, and not with the way the logo is facing. So the logo is going to be upside down.
Yeah, that looks so much better. So much better. Because whenever we first started this, I'm sure I remember, there was like 3 or 4 fingers worth of gap. I didn't realize it was that big until now. But now it's maybe 2 fingers, like a finger and a half. That's what she said. The spacers in, I did 15 millimeters on the front, and then I did 15 millimeters on the back. And you can see how much better that fits. And we'll zoom in over here too. How much better that fits versus what it was, where it was inside, and if you sat at this angle you couldn't even see the tire. Now it's all flush. Super nice. Totally worth it. So what we're doing now is they have a computer hooked up to the car. A lot of the times whenever you put springs on something with adaptive suspension on it, like this car does, the car will recognize that it is sitting lower, so it thinks that it has a fault in the suspension. Might throw a code, might not. I've heard of people that didn't throw a code, I've heard of people that did, for multiple reasons, right? We're gonna go ahead and put a computer to the car and see if it's gonna show it, and then we're just gonna go ahead and update it and reset it and calibrate it, and hopefully we fix it before it ever happens. But if it does, not a big deal. We'll take the next step. There's like a bracket or something that you can buy to bypass that, and we'll see if we can go from there. But the nice thing about coming to EAS Motorsports is that they have access to a lot of crazy stuff here. So they're hooking a computer up to it and reading the car and seeing if it's gonna throw a code, and then they're gonna try to recalibrate it before it ever recognizes that it's lower. Bam! Boom!
Every time I back up, my car goes, fuck you, hard! That's a Supra? Sounds like fucking trouble.
He just went out on the road to go hit a few bumps. Just wanted to hear and just see if it does anything, you know, just to make sure it's all good. He's just checking over his work before he sends us all the way across the lake back to Hammond. And then there's a bunch of rattling and stuff going on, so which I appreciate. So that's what he's doing right now. So, but it's raining hard. It hasn't stopped since like 12. So hopefully you can hear anything if he does. Hopefully like the rain isn't too loud that he can't hear anything. This guy ain't even got his headlights on. Yeah, so we're on our way home now. And it's been monsooning. Absolutely monsooning, right? I forgot we were in New Orleans. And all the streets were flooded. And like probably the sketchiest last 20 minutes of my life have been so sketchy. Because I just lowered the car. And I like drove through a river for like a mile. Like, I have no clue how deep the water was, but all I know is like I could feel that we're in a lot of water, and you couldn't even see the road, bro. Like, so sketchy. Anyway, we're on our way home, and hopefully we don't run into any more water. Most of the way that we have to go home is on a bridge, so no water's gonna be on the bridge. So we'll see. We just got to get out of New Orleans. Once we get out of New Orleans, then we should be okay. Fingers crossed.